Hello friends, welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Today we're diving into a swirl of whispers that the internet whipped into a storm with nothing more than a handful of taps on a screen. The spotlight has swung toward Ebru and Akın Akinozu, two names that always wake the fandoms, the tabloids, and the timelines all at once. What began as a casual night out turned into an explosive online debate, and a clever remark from Ebru sent the rumor mill spinning even faster. Let's unpack how we got here, why a few hearts under photos created chaos, and what Ebru's poised reply really means. It kicked off last week, when Ebru showed up at Rams Park to watch the Galatasaray-Göztepe match. At first glance, it looked like a simple, carefree evening, a beloved actress slipping into the stands to enjoy a big game. But in the world of celebrity optics, nothing is ever just a night out. Fan cams caught her arrival, clips spread like wildfire, and before halftime, her name was already trending. Photos of Abru in the stands started cycling through every account with a hint of entertainment buzz. The atmosphere, electric and loud, turned into the perfect backdrop for a digital moment that everyone decided to decode. Enter Akın Akinozu, specifically, his social media activity. Not long after those stadium shots began to circulate, keen-eyed followers noticed that Akın had tapped the heart on one of Ebru's posts from the game. On its own, it could have been a friendly nod, an "I see you, good to see you out." But then it happened again. And again. The likes kept coming, not only on the stadium photo but on her follow-up posts, the ones with the bright smile and the match night sparkle. That steady pulse of likes became the spark for a full-on guessing game. Comments lit up. Some said it was obvious interest. Others argued it was nothing but a supportive gesture, the way colleagues nod across the digital room. And then there were the fans who insist that repeated likes are never just random, that they always carry a quiet message, a nudge with subtext. In seconds, people were looking backward as much as forward, connecting dots that may or may not be there. Context is everything, and everyone had a theory at the ready. For months, gossip pages had dissected every little ripple around Akın's private life, analyzing distance and closeness, silence and sudden engagements with old colleagues. The on and off whispers about whether he and Abru were speaking, not speaking, friendly, or frosty had cooled only recently. So when those likes started clustering under her posts, right after a period in which many believed he'd closed a turbulent chapter, viewers didn't hesitate to ask whether a new one was opening. Questions began piling up. Is this a rekindling? Is he marking his interest in public? Is there something more going on behind those tiny red hearts? The spark hit gasoline when the press caught Abru at the airport. The microphones appeared, the lights popped, and the same question burst out over and over. What do you think about Akın Akinozu liking your posts? Is there anything between you two? Abru, composed and bright, answered with a laugh that instantly softened the moment. She teased, not curtly but cleverly, as if to say, if every heart under my photos counted as a romance, I'd need a daily planner to keep track. The reporters pushed again, but it's not just anyone, it's Akın Akinozu, and she kept her tone warm and diplomatic. She emphasized that she doesn't treat every social tap as a love letter and thanked them with a smile that diffused the tension without shutting the door rudely in anyone's face. That exchange catapulted online. Clips of Abru's calm chuckle and quick wit ricocheted across timelines. The phrase that stuck was her playful insinuation that a like does not equal a relationship, a neat way to separate public perception from private reality. Overnight, her approach was labeled natural, unforced, and intelligent. Many praised how she kept the moment light, neither feeding the rumor nor inflaming it, while still letting her personality shine. From there, the web split into camps. One group declared her response a straight denial. In their view, Abru had closed the book with humor, signaling there's nothing to see, folks. Another group read her tone as elegant openness, not confirmation, but a refusal to dramatize the ordinary. According to them, her words did not slam the door shut, they simply redirected the conversation away from assumptions and into a much calmer lane. You could scroll forever through opinions, everyone had a take, a memory, a receipt to pull. Plenty of fans tried to minimize the event, saying it was just online interaction. Akın liked the posts, that's all, and the rest is fantasy crafted by people who live for clues. Others applauded Ebru's savvy, noting how she has an uncanny ability to turn a tense narrative into a moment of charm. With one line, the mood changes, and suddenly everyone's laughing. Some wondered out loud whether Akın would keep the likes coming or step back after the storm, suggesting that the next few days would reveal whether his interest was fleeting or a steady beat. And of course, there were those matchmaker comments, "They look good together," countered immediately by "Their rhythms don't match," as if any of us can really know. The jokes were relentless. Fans quipped that they, too, had liked Abru's photos. Should they clear their schedules for a date? Others teased that Akın's thumb must be in shape from tapping hearts all night. It was playful, fond, and precisely the kind of banter that fires up the algorithm. Yet beneath the humor, a more serious conversation hummed. What do likes mean anymore? Are they compliments, breadcrumbs, or just muscle memory for people who scroll as part of their jobs? This question led to the broader debate: is Akın's pattern of likes a habit or a signal? Actors, like athletes and influencers, scroll and tap 1,000 times a day. Some see it as networking, a perpetual hello that keeps the digital room friendly. Others argue that a cluster of likes, especially timed around a specific event, like Abru's stadium night, suggests something more than routine. The timing was part of the intrigue, coming after weeks of quiet around their names. The sudden, visible approval felt strategic to the watchers who believe nothing is random in celebrity life. To understand why this blew up so fast, you have to look at the modern media machine. In the age of public metrics, the tiniest action becomes a headline. A like doesn't just sit there, it becomes a breadcrumb trail for viewers who relish building stories from fragments. When two high-profile names with passionate fan bases engage, even subtly, speculation roars to life. Over time, a like has stopped being just a like. It's a possible wink, a maybe, an invitation for everyone else to draw conclusions. Abru has handled storms like this for years. She stays composed, leans into humor, and refuses to let a moment steer her off course. That's why her response landed so well. It made people laugh while also reminding them that there's a human behind the handle, someone who does not owe a confession just because a few taps appear under her posts. And that grace is part of her appeal. Her fans feel she's honest without being reactive, warm without feeding chaos. The comment sections kept evolving. Some drew a hard line: Abru and Akın are friends, period. Others swore the timing was too neat to ignore. A third group said the truth might be somewhere in the middle, that feelings, if any, don't need to be paraded for everyone's approval, and that interpreting silence as secrecy is our problem, not theirs. The longer it went on, the clearer it became that this debate wasn't really about two people at all. It was about the way we listen for romance in clicks and pixels. Still, the pattern was familiar. Gossip thrives on proximity, a stadium sighting, shared history, visible affection in the digital sphere. Each of those elements feeds a narrative arc that tabloids can rinse and repeat. This time, though, Abru's deft handling took the temperature down. Her message implied she won't be dragged into naming and confirming every time her notifications light up. She made it a moment of comedy rather than conflict. So, where does that leave us? For now, there is no confirmed romance, no statement that changes the course of their professional or personal stories. There are likes, visible, public, intriguing likes, and a witty response that refuses to inflate them into a confession. Could Akın be interested? It's not impossible, and no one can definitively deny what only the two of them know. Could it all be benign? Absolutely, especially in an industry where social currency often flows through little heart icons sent and received 100 times a day. Looking back at the past few months, it's easy to see why this snowballed. Both names carry weight. They share a history that fans still hold close, a magnetism that never really leaves the conversation. Against that backdrop, any tiny gesture catches like a spark on dry grass. But Abru's stance, light, mature, and unbothered, suggests that this might be one more case of the internet building a cathedral out of breadcrumbs. In the end, all signs point to a simple truth: There's no confirmed rekindling, just two people moving within a very public arena. The story drew noise, laughter, and plenty of opinions, but it remained a spectacle built on the thinnest of evidence. And yet, that's part of the game. In this world, nothing is treated as ordinary, every glance has a story, every pause is a cliffhanger, and every like is a whisper that people swear they can translate. Tell us what you think. Do those hearts from Akın Akinoza mean he's reaching out, or is it all just the routine hum of social media? Did Ebru shut down the rumor with elegance, or did her humor leave room for what-ifs? Drop your thoughts below, this conversation belongs to all of us. And if you live for these electrifying deep dives, remember to subscribe, like, and ring that bell so you never miss a late-night unraveling. This is Turkish Spotlight Secrets, and we'll be right here with the next story the moment the next heart lands where the world can see it. Until then, breathe, scroll gently, and don't forget, sometimes a like is just a like, but sometimes, the fun is in wondering.